What's going on, y'all? We got some news here to definitely talk about with Linus Tech Tips. And this is him being disappointed in the Steam machine not being priced like a console. Not only do we have that, but we have Half-Life 3 leaks apparently, and why I believe that could be more real than it's ever been, but that does not mean anything like a GTA release date. You know what I'm saying? But I think... I don't know, which one are we going to get first? Because they both seem like, oh man, what's going on? At least we know we've seen GTA footage, but Half-Life is like, no, I haven't seen anything. So yeah, there's some stuff to talk about here. One, Steam machine price, knowing what it's not going to be. Yeah, get prepared. And how they may be able to get away with that if Half-Life 3 is going to be launched with it. Yeah, that's the only way. So we're gonna get this all going. This is some interesting topics. Yeah, you guys are seeing me covering Steam stuff. I know you probably like that, some fresh stuff. And there's a lot of stuff going to be going on this channel too. When I get my official internet hooked up right now, I'm kind of using something else. Because like I said, that power line and installation didn't work out. And yeah, that's kind of annoyed about that. But yeah, we're going to be streaming again. Don't worry. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. Now, he apparently had a conversation with them. This is where things get interesting. We're going to look at the video footage. All right. Starting off here, apparently he discussed that $500 should be priced like a console. You know what I mean? I think you guys should do that. And apparently when that happened, because we're going to see how this is live on the video, there was some silence in the room. Kind of like, you know, you kind of think you had a good idea and everybody's just looking at you and nobody said nothing and it's silent for quite some time. You're like, okay, so yeah. These guys are definitely not going to be pricing it at $500. We were thinking $400 with the specs. Dude, 8 gigs of VRAM in 2026, what is wrong with you? You know what I mean? So you're trying to charge more than $500. This is clear that he's thinking like 600 guys to 700. That's like, oh God. For 8 gigs of VRAM? Oh boy. The only way you're getting away with this murderous price, because the Steam Deck's $549, think about it. OLED. The only way you're getting away from that price is if you put Half-Life 3 in there. You know you're going to be able to get away with things, but yeah. Yeah, the light's going to be like this because, yeah, I don't have a cover there, but that's okay. Let's get started, though. Are we ready?
Actually, no. What I want you guys to do, chat, get out of here, bud, is let me know what you would pay for it. So basically, it's a 7600 CPU and a 7600 GPU. This is not a super powerful machine.
No.
Valve is upfront saying that they are going to be relying on FSR in order to achieve 4K. And even then, man, like 8 gigs VRAM, anyone else would be taking a ton of flack for shipping a game console today with 8 gigs of VRAM.
Yeah.
Yes. So we've got a lot of people talking pricing in here. I'm gonna read these. 600, 600, 600, 600, 600, 350, 800, maybe 600, 1,000, you're crazy. 500 tops or DOA, 250 PS5, so like 500 to 600, 599, 699, 500. Okay. A lot of 500 to 600.
I don't think so.
I can't tell you what the price will be because I literally don't know. But when I said, you know, I'm disappointed that it isn't going to follow a console pricing model where it's subsidized by the fact that, you know, the manufacturer is going to be taking 30% of every game sold on it over the lifespan of this thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel that would be a more meaningful product. And they kind of asked what I meant by, well, what do you mean by console price? And I said, well, $500. Nobody said anything, but the energy of the room wasn't great. So...
Oh, a console isn't $500. Maybe that's why.
Does it matter?
I mean...
PS5 Pro is...
Dude, here's my thing. Like, they launched in 2020 with 16 gigabytes of VRAM. Do you understand that that means that they made that console years before that? Why are you trying to launch something in 2026, almost 6 years later, with 8 gigs of VRAM? It doesn't make any sense because a game like Half-Life 3 is going to be insanely demanding. I don't understand how this is going to be somewhere close to the PS5 Pro. Dude, you're going to get absolutely destroyed in hardware. You know what I mean? Like, I like the idea of Steam having their own ecosystem. I'm not about this. This has nothing to do with that. Once again, this is about, you have the opportunity to have a golden placement over Xbox's failure. and you're coming with greed after your 500 million yacht too. I mean, this is what I mean. Like all these companies, man, none of this. I said, dude, how's PC better? And I've been saying no, it's not, because cool, free online, sure, but I mean, there's a limit to that, because it's like, okay, but what about NVIDIA being the most anti-consumer when it comes to pricing, where you buy a damn card that's more expensive than a PS5 Pro, just a card by itself, the Xbox, and a Nintendo Switch 2. And you can get some games and online on all of them, and you're still being priced out by the GPU by itself. You want to get something like a 5090 or something, or 50. Just one thing. We're not even talking about getting the rest of the stuff. Right by the time you get your PC done with that type of build, you're talking about what, $3,000 or something. You see what I mean? Like, who is responsible for that? PC gamers are. So when it comes to anti-consumer, like I said, all that hypocrisy needs to be shut down. And the Steam machine, like he just said, everybody in the room is quiet because they're like, you're crazy. You think we're only going to charge $500 for this? He said it, guys. We got an answer. This thing is not going to be $500. So look, we can do our deduction skills here, right? It's right there in front of us. We were thinking, man, maybe 400, 450 would be nice, right? That would be like eye candy. Obviously, they're not going to do that with 8 gigs of VRAM, right? No, they're saying the way that silence is, that's not even 550. No, that's minimum 600. Well, you probably said 600. They're like, probably looking at you like that. You know what I mean? No. $700, $650. What we know now is 500 is out the ballpark. They didn't even say, nah. I mean, maybe a little bit more than 5. No, just completely silent, like you're crazy. Like, you know what I mean? That's like a crazy. You're looking at him. No way, dude. So 600 minimum now, guys. Minimum, and I don't even know if that. So you got your answer with that. I don't know what else to say. And what bothers me is that I think that may just be the 512 version. Ugh, I'll give you a Jim Carrey face. Oh boy, man, none of them care about you. You know what I mean? This dude's on his $500 million yacht, and they're thinking, no deal. You know what I mean? You're not giving them any video games. Deadlock, sure, you finally making some type of game. If you make it Half-Life 3, that's cool. But when is the last time you gave a game? You're just taking a bunch of other people's games and they're playing a bunch of old games, man. That's the thing that annoys me. I love Steam, though, with the open compatibility, playing stuff, being able to mod stuff, having a Proton DB over Windows nonsense. Can play whatever controller I want, Nintendo Switch controller, Nintendo Switch Pro controller, PlayStation, Xbox. It's nice for all of that. You know what I mean? I like Steam for that. But this is a totally different scenario here, which like you can't give back the right way. I mean, it has to be $600-700 for 8 gigs of VRAM. Yeah, I don't know.
700.
Yeah, the PS5 Pro, but we're talking the Pro. I mean, the Pro is markedly more powerful than the Steam machine.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, PS5 Pro Radeon equivalent. I think it's more equivalent to like a 7700.
I'll follow consoles enough.
Let me have a look. So that is more equivalent to a 7700 XT.
Yeah, and basically what he's doing, he's just comparing PC specs to PC specs. Rasterization and just in general, and for the price point. And on Black Friday, that thing is going to be $650.
And then the base PS5
with FSR4
is about an RX 6700. So the base PS5 is closer to the Steam machine in terms of performance. With that said, it's not like the Steam machine, even if it's at $600 or $700, isn't going to have any justification for it.
The disk drive PS5 non-Pro is $550.
Does the Steam machine have a disk drive?
No.
Okay, then.
Well, I don't think so. It has a lot of other stuff going on, though.
Yeah, I mean, compared to a PlayStation, yeah, you can use it as a computer, but I think a lot of people won't. And the fact that Valve is shipping this thing with a controller tells me that this is... and
a controller with touchpads on it.
And all but one demo that they had in their big demo room was it hooked up to a TV. Like, it wasn't... They had the one where it was hooked up to a monitor.
To TVs.
Yeah, I mean, and it's an extension of what you already have. It's not like you're getting a whole bunch of exclusive games launched around it. Unless they do that Half-Life launch, they can get away with that. You know what I mean? Everybody knows they can. Just like it's like kind of like Nintendo launching Mario Kart World. Though we know they have a ton of games after that. Valve's not going to be able to do that because they don't make games that quick. But the idea is, if you do launch it with Half-Life, yeah, you can get away with things. Or people could say, I got my $2,000 rig, dude. Why would I want to go pay $600-700 for that when I can just buy it straight up on Steam? Just saying, you see what I mean? And But other than that, I mean, it's still going to help it a little bit for people who don't have it. But come on, man, you have options where it's like with Nintendo and PlayStation, it's like that's your only option, man. Like you're not getting that game anywhere else. So people already have their built rigs that are dumping on this thing. And if you're going to do it at that price, man, I thought that it was going to be something that Valve would say, you know what, let me teach you how to do this right, Microsoft. But no, apparently they're going to take the anti-consumer greedy route too. And that is disappointing, but not as disappointing as them because Valve is already on there. You don't necessarily need to go get the device. It's an option, you know what I mean? But it is nice now to have Windows with that. And we're going to get to Half-Life here in a second. But you guys are kind of already getting the point, though. It's like your grace with this is Half-Life 3. That's it. Since you're going that route, now we know it's going to be more expensive than $500. And I have to say, man, it's just disappointing.
For sure.
Right.
I still just think it's not completely equivalent.
I mean, yeah.
I'm not surprised it would be more expensive. I think it honestly makes sense that it would probably be more expensive.
There's not. Which one would be more expensive?
I think Linux is being more neutral here. I think he's kind of just leaning into the PC world. It's just me. It just seems like he just wants to defend everything here, and that's not the right thing to do because it's like, dude, none of them need more money. Definitely Steam, who does not give any games. Even Xbox had stuff, even though they had to monopolize, and Steam monopolizes too, but all of them do. But I mean, I think that they should give back to the community. But of course, he went to get himself a $500 million yacht, like I said. And it's going to launch a product where it's like, dude, you have a chance to get into that market. Like, why would you not want to build on that and still be fine? But of course, they're not going to do it. So it makes me worry about the price of the Steam Deck, too, for y'all, too. Because I think that thing's going to be, yeah, $700 probably, $650, something like that. Oh, man.
Steam Machine.
What is it adding?
It's a computer.
Sure. How much are you going to compute from your couch?
I can definitely see people using it in that way, and I can see that being a value add for people and it being more expensive because of that.
Sure.
I'm just saying I understand why the pricing might work that way.
Dude, I don't understand why anybody would choose that over PS5 Pro when it has its own exclusives, timed exclusives, and can play all the Xbox games. It's getting to that point now where these diminishing returns are going to be pretty high. And 16 gigabytes of VRAM, plus an extra 2 gigabytes of RAM, plus a 2 terabyte. You're trying to charge $600, almost $700, with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. This guy's slow on the right, I'm just going to tell you. And you're giving me $512. Imagine the 2 terabyte. What are they going to charge for that? $800? Plus tax? To do the same thing you already can do right now with a much better machine and options available? No, man, there's no justifying this. I don't understand why he's trying to do that. He seems like a Steam PC fanboy. He's defending like a fanboy. We have to be neutral about this and say, no, man, there's no justification. Linux is 100% right on almost everything here. He's questioning the integrity of Valve, and he's disappointed, and he wants them to do better. As a PC guy that loves PC the most, you can see it right here. And come on, man, all you guys that are watching my stuff, you know the same thing here, too. You do not want this thing to be $600+, and you're getting 512 gigabytes. Dude, you're going to run out, and you're going to have to go buy an extra thing. Now you're going to be spending 100 and something more bucks. No, man, it's not going to justify. We're going to install 2 games on this, a couple games on this. You see what I mean? Like, it's that again. And then even then, are you going to get even of that 500? How much are they going to take away from you? You see what I mean? Because you're not getting that raw 512. It doesn't make any sense to me. I can't find any way to justify this. I'm actually disappointed, honestly. You can kind of see it where it's like, dude, I don't, no, man, it's disappointing.
I'm not saying it's good.
When you were saying there's more to it, I thought you meant there's like more hardware that I'm not accounting for that would make it like the cost higher.
It's a different device.
Sure, yeah, it's a different device. But, for me, look, the question is like from a performance standpoint, the biggest justification for what I'm going to hook up to my TV, I'm not computing, I'm gaming. I'm gaming from my couch.
Yeah.
So the biggest justification to me is that I can take advantage of Steam sales. I don't have to buy things in the PlayStation Store.
Sure.
If it's going to be more expensive, that's the more meaningful.
There are benefits to it being a compute device on your TV.
Now, if Sony does what they're going to do and they pull their games and they put everything on their app, or not pull their games, but just not put any more on there, I mean, you don't have that anymore. I think it's going to get to that point, probably. So we need to think about that, too, and seeing how they want to do things. Like I said, the only way they're going to get around this is Half-Life 3. And we can go ahead and add that in because there's not much to really talk about that because it is a leak. You know what I mean? We know this. Hold on a second here. I just don't understand. As we see right here, this is where people got the idea that there's a second game here and that Valve has a new unannounced game listed under upcoming releases. Is Half-Life 3 really happening? Like I said, Valve, if you're going to be intelligent here, it better be because you're launching it with that as a bundle. And if you include that price with that bundle like Nintendo did, then you could get away with this murderous nonsense with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. But with a Half-Life game in 2026, I don't know. What are you going to be playing it on, man? We know their engines are amazing, but still, man.
For sure.
Sure.
I think saying no to that is crazy.
I mean, hit me. Like
you
what?
can pirate things.
Okay, but I can't watch like proper HDR Netflix because it's Linux.
Man.
I
dude.
mean, you could. It would be annoying.
I don't know why he interviewed this guy. It's kind of embarrassing. So you went to an openly admit, I can steal people's games. He got up every day in an office and went to work. He has to deal with other stuff anyways. I mean, I'm sorry, this guy's a loser to me so far. Let's keep going.
But you could.
You can? Is that supported now? Because I'm not aware of it.
You could virtual machine over if you cared.
HDR? With what streaming platform?
Sorry, what?
Like watching HDR? Like DRM protected HDR Netflix? No.
You can't do that through Windows if you boot Windows through anyways?
Sure, but then now you're buying a Windows license.
Oh, sure. You're pirating things, so you can't pirate the easiest thing to pirate?
I mean, at this point, you're basically making the argument of like just going in, like you're taking this. We're talking about a console right now. I mean, at the point of what
we're not.
That's my point. At the point of what you're talking about, go build a PC and then just hide it behind your media console.
I mean, in a lot of ways, yeah.
Well, right, but that's not what we're talking about.
Except that's what they're selling.
Sort of.
Kind of.
Actually.
Were you there?
No.
Okay, so that's not really the messaging.
Okay.
It's part of it.
Your video projects that it's not a console. It's specifically not a console.
It's not a console, but what it is it is designed for a very console-like experience.
Totally, and it will do that and more stuff, which is my point.
I'm actually having a hard time kind of following along here. But basically where we started was I went, hey, I don't really think that there's a lot here that would justify 4 years later why this thing would be priced like a 4-year-old PlayStation 5. And, you know, if you kind of go like, yeah, there's more utility in it being open, it's like, yeah, but, you know, at that point, yeah, you could just like build a PC and flash a SteamOS image on it. Like,
literally, and like I said, this is not something that's new. We thought that you were going to come into the console space with a console like PC. Obviously, this is not a console, but the idea is you made a controller specifically for that because you're making a console-like experience. So you want to appear like that, but not give ridiculous PC pricing. I mean, there's no way around this. Linus is right. This guy's obviously he's losing this big time. Everybody knows this, and there's no and that's all I pretty much have to say about this. And that for Valve, that your only saving grace is to have this as a bundle. But to say that you're going to give people 512, I mean, even PlayStation narrowed their stuff down to 800 and something, but it was a 1 terabyte for that price at launch. And then $399 for the digital only, and it was more powerful than that in 2020. So we're going to be going to 2026, and you're offering 512. I don't even want to know your 1 terabyte offer. So, or whatever the hell, 2 terabyte, whatever they're going to offer. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Unbelievable. So yeah, I mean, I like everything else about Steam Machine, but I do not like this greedy pricing. Later, we got our answer, guys. Remember, not cheaper than $600 after that quiet in the room. Later.